Yo, yo, yo. What it do, yo? Yeah, those historic annals, dude. God dang, dude. Yeah. That's a pretty good clip.
You shake weight jam.
Booty, baby. Are pretty funny, Gaps. What up, Davey? What up, Psycho? What's going on, guys? He said it's about time. Yo, this is strategic, dude. I do this on I say roughly 6 a.m. start time, but if I'm early, then there'll be people not ready. So if I'm a little bit late, that's the way I see it. If I'm a little bit late, then people are ready for me. If I'm, you know what I'm saying? If I'm early, people aren't ready. I don't want people to miss stuff. You know what I'm saying? How you guys doing today, man? Davey, thanks, buddy. We got an exciting day, dude. We got an exciting day. We got, as always, every day's exciting. Okay? Let's be fair. For me, it is anyways, dude. I hope it is for you guys, too. We got video gaming news, obviously, as we do every day for today, August 24th. And then we're going to play a little bit of Fallout New Vegas. Fashionably late, right? Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's why I've started saying roughly start at 6 a.m. because this is about how it works most of the time, dude, But to be, in all honesty, you know what it is? A lot of it is, dude, I've always always been good, like whenever, before I was streamed and I had jobs, I was always really good about being on time. I would always get to work about 15 minutes ahead of start time, stuff like that. But I hated the anxiety of it. I hated the anxiety of having to rush around, make sure I was there on time and early and stuff like that, And it's just kind of nice to be able to just be like, yeah, roughly 6 a.m. And usually we start within, roughly 10 minutes about after that or whatever. But it's just nice to not really have to have that kind of anxiety anymore about the start times of work and stuff, But that I play it off like it's a strategic kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Mind games, dude. So yeah, we got the news. We'll do the news. Yesterday was a long news segment, and I didn't even game because of it. I just had other things I needed to do, and so we'll do the news today. Then we'll probably play a little bit of some Fallout New Vegas, and then we're gonna start Blasphemous 2. Yeah, Blasphemous 2 doesn't release until 11 o'clock my time, so I think that's what it is. Is that right? Let's see this real quick. 11 o'clock my time, I think. Yeah, approximately 4.5 hours from now. Yep. So 11 o'clock. Yeah, I was right. 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock, we will be able to go ahead and start downloading and installing Blasphemous. So we'll get 2 to 3 hours of it played today. So it'll be our afternoon game today. So we'll play Fallout New Vegas the remainder of the morning after the news. And then we'll do Blasphemous 2 for the remainder of the afternoon, okay? That's what we'll do. Oh, you are? Yo, I saw you had something in Discord. I forgot. I woke up and saw it and was like, oh, what? That sucks, dude. I see your post there in... Yeah, that sucks, dude. Did you figure that all out or what? You're gonna play it? You're gonna play WrestleQuest, dude? Phone's too old? Oh no, dude. What are you gonna? Are you buying it or something or what? Or are you just gonna play it on Netflix on a different device or something? On PC through Netflix? Can you play games through the desktop app now? Is that a thing? I didn't think you could before. Let me know, dude. Let me know. They're changing a lot of that stuff. They're trying to get a lot of stuff rolled out for Netflix. But for the longest time, it's just basically been their actual mobile application that you could play it on. So play their games on, which I've been talking about. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's one of the things I've been talking about with Netflix, is that it feels like they really need to start fleshing out their platform and giving people more options of how and where to play, whether it be playing their games on console through their application as a subscriber. Obviously you have to be a subscriber, right? But you know, whether it be like that or on a desktop application or whatever, but giving people the opportunity to play those games on different devices and different platforms outside of just the mobile application. That's really constraining. It's really, I think, limiting their potential for bringing people into their gaming segment, which they're heavily invested in at this point, you know? Let's do this, dude. Let's dive in here. Let's take a look at what's going on in the world of video games. Let's do this, man. Let's get into the news stuff. Let's do what we do, baby. We'll go ahead and pause this music out. Let's go. All right. We talked about this yesterday. Shout out to our buddy Casual Gamer. Yeah. So, I mean, I talked in length about this. We had a long flipping news segment yesterday, dude. It was like 5.5 hours. 5.5 hour news segment, something like that. So we found out that oh wow. Just $200 for a remote play access device. Each individual person is going to feel a bit different about this. I personally don't think this is all that great. Honestly, it's a lower price point than I thought it would be. I talked about this yesterday, but to sum it up, this is what they were calling Project Q. Now they're calling it PlayStation Portal. It's not a true handheld. It is only a remote access device, meaning that as long as you have a PS5 running a game on the same local area network, and it'll have to be Wi-Fi connected, that basically you'll be able to play that game on this device, stream the game over to this device. But other than that, there's nothing else about it that puts it into the category of an actual handheld device, other than the fact that you hold it in your hand. It's a remote access device. So $200 is less than I thought they would charge. It's still a lot of money for a remote access device. Let me backtrack. Let's put some things into perspective real quick. Each individual person is going to feel a bit different about this, depending on what you feel like you need to enhance your gaming experience and give you a little bit, you know. So here's what it is. Remote access features and technology have been around for roughly a decade now. It's been something that Steam has been giving PC players for roughly a decade now. I mean, the technology's has been around longer than that, but actually in the form of being out for gamers and on a consumer base, it's been coming, you know, almost a decade now that it's been out. And most of it has been kind of pushed out first and foremost by Valve and Steam. It's been a real nice quality of life thing they've done for their players, right? The people that game on PC and use their platform. Nowadays, it's called Steam Link. It's always been called Steam Link. It used to be a small form factor hardware device. It was not very expensive. It was very well made. I have a couple of them, and I've loved them. I've always loved them. Remote access being I can turn on my PC, I can boot up Steam, I can go in my living room, boot up my Steam Link, and I can play any of my games on my TV in my living room. Just connect a controller or whatever I need to that little hardware box, and I'm controlling my Steam application through my PC from an entirely different room in my house. That's what remote access is, remote gaming, and it's been really nice for a long time. I've enjoyed it, but again, I mean, Sony does have a remote play application, but apparently it's not very good, and this is where I have a little bit of an issue with what PlayStation's doing. To be fair, I don't personally have any experience with it. But from everything that I researched here lately, once I found out they did have a remote play, thanks, Psycho, remote play application for their consoles, it's not very intuitive. It's not real streamlined. It doesn't work real seamlessly for the consumer. And the fact that they're going ahead and pushing out something like this to make money off their consumer before they work on getting the remote play access part of their platform fully fleshed out as a nice quality of life option for PlayStation players feels bad to me. Again, you're talking about a console. People are buying into that platform. People are buying into that platform at a pretty significant price point, and it's another one of those things that I feel like should be a quality of life option you give your gamers at this point in, gaming and technological history, 2023. This technology has been around for roughly a decade now on a consumer-based level, and they're still not giving people real seamless, intuitive access to this, so they can just run their PS5 remote access into another room on another TV or something, like you do get with Steam. Steam's is very, very seamless. It's really easy to use. It works very, very well. Apparently, PlayStation's isn't, but they're pushing out a $200 device that's like, oh, well, you use this device, it'll be easy, And that's where I have an issue. And Cornface, I got both of those. Nice, dude. So, I mean, I don't know. To each individual person, I think where this is honestly more than I see this appealing more to people that are solely PlayStation gamers. People that are solely PlayStation gamers and don't know any better are going to look at this and go, oh, this is really cool. But, I mean, honestly, for somebody like me, it's pretty underwhelming. Not to say that it's not a nice maybe utility for people to have if they want to just be like walking around their house and gaming or whatever, but I mean, that's about all it is. So, if you want a PS5 and you want this remote access device on top of that, you're talking $700 US. So let's put that into perspective now. And now again, the Steam Link nowadays isn't even a hardware, it's free. You don't even have to pay for hardware, and you've never had to pay for the application or anything either. And Steam Valve being a platform that you don't even buy into with hardware or anything in the first place, they just have given us this quality of life option as being committed to the gamers that are part of the platform. Take note of that, right? You could spend $700 and get a top of the line true gaming PC handheld in the top tier model of the Steam Deck, and you would have a really, really nice remote access capabilities across the board through Steam. But it's just to put things in perspective for people, right? I just, and look, I think that this is going to be a very respected, obviously my take here is subjective. I'm somebody I've really gotten removed myself from the console gaming sphere because I feel like a lot of what they do is taking advantage of their consumer base, and um, whereas PC, in my opinion, is definitely the place to be. As somebody who traditionally has played games across all platforms, this is just one of those things where I probably wouldn't feel as bad about this if it seemed to me that PlayStation's remote gaming platform and technology as a whole was on the same level as like maybe what Steam's is or something like that before they tried to push something like this out to their consumer base to try and make money off of it. But I don't think that's really what's going on here. So I don't know, man. Everybody will have to just be their own kind of judge as to whether or not obviously this is something that appeals to you, you need, or would be a good thing for you gaming wise. But let's not get it twisted. This is in no way, shape, or form even close to being anything that should be called a handheld. This is a controller with a screen on it. That's what this is. It does nothing else but let you access your PS5 games on this device, as long as your PS5 is up and running and on the same local area network, Yeah, exactly, Psycho. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I say that. I think we talked about it yesterday. I do think this is something that is going to appeal more to people that are just solely PlayStation gamers. And it's because of that fact. Yeah. Because a lot of them probably just don't know any better. And I think Sony knows that, which is why I want to educate people and open their eyes and at least let them know what this situation is, in my opinion, so they can make more of an educated determination as to whether this is a good purchase or not, But each individual person is going to have to figure that out for themselves. I've always done gaming across a lot of different platforms and stuff, but and there had been times where maybe I because of certain games or whatever, I would go play console back when I was younger more than I would play PC and stuff like that. But for the longest time now, man, I mean, I've just gravitated closer and closer and closer to maining PC because it just feels so much better from my standpoint as a consumer. I repented. Nice, dude. So I don't know. Hopefully that's a nice little TLDR. We talked about it for quite a while yesterday, but um, oh geez, dude. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday too. The Nintendo Switch gets official de novo support to curb PC emulation. Um, yo, nice, bro. Yeah, funny enough, dude. They're getting torn apart on Twitter, dude. Nintendo's getting torn apart. Denuvo's getting torn apart. Denuvo, not only okay, what's so ironic about this situation too is Denuvo actually tweeted out an announcement about this using AI generated art that was supposed to look like The Legend of Zelda, like Tears of the Kingdom, but it was obviously AI generated art. So they are a company that is supposed to be preventing pirating of software, yet they went and used AI generated art and basically plagiarized people's artwork. Who even is that, dude? I think I know who that is. Mitch Hedberg. Hedberg. Let me see this. That's who you think I look like, dude? I think he looks like me. Oh yeah, he was really good, dude. I knew the name. Yeah, he was really funny, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not I think Psycho's just kind of trolling out there. But a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. Yeah. So, um you guys know how I stand on that. My big thing is like there's so many people that become so blinded to any other option that is out there because of their affection for a particular brand quite often. Or, there's always the PC versus console. Or if it's in the console realm, it's Nintendo versus Xbox versus PlayStation. Or if it's in the PC realm and you're talking about PC builds, then you're talking about AMD versus Intel or AMD versus NVIDIA. And there's always the wars and everything. And for me, it's more about what's the better product, truly breaking it down and talking about what's the better product. And that is sometimes going to vary person to person, which is why I talk about these kinds of things the way I do. But I do think Psycho was just trolling out a little bit there. But you guys know how I stand on that. And I think I understand why people gravitate towards certain brands and things like that. And look, I mean, it's marketed that way too. They want people to feel like they're part of that branding. Never not troll. Yeah, yeah. So they do it on purpose, man. They actually pit us against one another when it comes to this stuff. They want people to feel like you're part of Nintendo or you're part of PlayStation or you're an AMD guy. You know what I mean? And they do it like that on purpose. And ultimately, I think what it should come down to, and people need to realize, is like it should be more about where are you getting the best bang for your buck? What's the better company to be backing? You know what I mean? If you really that's why I try to educate to the best of my ability as far as my own perception about these companies and the things they do and the way they handle their business, the way they treat their customers, and us being the customers as gaming enthusiasts, because this is the world that we're really invested in, gaming. This is what we love. And that's why I'm always trying to kind of break it down quite a bit, give people a pretty solid idea of what these companies actually are, what they're doing, what the current state of their products are, and things like that. I think that's important, as opposed to people just constantly being like, I only play Nintendo because I'm a Nintendo guy. All right. And nobody compares to Nintendo, bro. It's like that kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of people out there that I feel like just get blinded by it. They get themselves so far off into that realm of being a fan of that particular branding or product or developer or whatever that they become a bit blinded. They're not able to look at things realistically or critically that developer or that business is doing, because they don't want to see anything as being bad. You know what I mean? Which is why another reason I think that some of these companies have gotten over on us as the consumer base for quite some time, to an extent anyways. What is this? Phil Spencer insists games launch across Xbox Series X and S despite Baldur's Gate not coming yet. Yeah, no show. Yeah, legendary Star Wars shooter Dark Forces gets a 4K remaster. Dude, let's bring this De Novo stuff up real quick. Do they have the Twitter stuff? This is actually ridiculous. They have the Twitter link. Yeah, Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll pull that up. You guys will get to see how. If you didn't see it yesterday, you'll see how stupid this is. Jesus, Denuvo. You know, one of the last things we read about Denuvo also was that Denuvo was adamant, very, very steadfast in this stance currently about how they don't affect games. Their software does not affect game performance. And I think it's been proven time and time again in the past that Denuvo has, in fact, had significant effects on certain pieces of software, gaming. You know what I mean? But they're trying to say that it doesn't nowadays. So they're committed to this process of pushing out two copies of games moving forward to testers, critics, one that would be Denuvo free and one that would have Denuvo software included in it, right? And they are trying to prove that Denuvo doesn't affect software the way that everybody says it does nowadays. And we'll see what comes of that. We read about that probably about 2 months ago. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you just nailed it, Psycho. I think that's what it is. I mean, you know, people having fun gaming is the core of what gaming's supposed to be about. Now, I truly feel that it is important that people at least have some kind of maintain some kind of awareness about what these companies their track record, right? What are they doing that's good for you as a consumer? What are they doing that's bad for you as a consumer? Have they come out with software that is broken on release? Then don't buy their software again. You know what I mean? Things like that. I think that's important because the industry's not regulated enough, and it really does fall on us. I think as the fan base to really the consumer to take it upon ourselves to try and make sure things change a little bit. Just saying. I'll finish the sentiment. 1 second. Sorry, guys. No potty break. No potty break. I had to talk to a family for a second. Um, so yeah, I mean it's important. People enjoying what they do because that's what gaming's supposed to be about. Not everybody wants to pay attention to the bad side of it, but I do think it's important that we start holding these businesses that are accountable that are supposed to be bringing us joy. You know what I mean? But quite often they end up just schemazzing us. Oh, I know, dude. I know. Yeah, I know. um, so I don't know. And I mean, dude, I've done the same thing. I mean, I grew up being a PC gamer. Um, I grew up being a console gamer, and I've gone back and forth between them. I've focused. I mean, I remember when the original Xbox came out, dude. I played a ton of original Xbox, SSX Tricky, dude. Um, Fable stuff. And then same for like the PlayStation, PS1 and PS2. Man, those were huge, huge consoles for me. I spent a lot of time gaming on console back in those days. Um, but I've always also done PC stuff. Always, always. I mean, which I think is something that I'm very I'm glad I've had that experience of being able to kind of see the evolution of gaming and see it from a standpoint of having traditionally always played on a lot of different platforms and stuff, because I it gives me the perspective that I have on this stuff nowadays, which, to not everybody's going to agree with my takes on stuff, but in my opinion, there's things about the gaming industry that have evolved in an unhealthy way regarding us as the consumer base, right? Which is what I try to elaborate on quite often and educate people on, just to take your own, get people to take a beat, think about it, the things that maybe I bring up, and consider it for yourself. That's all it really is for me. Yeah, we talked about the Xbox 360 store is going to close down in July of next year. We've talked about that. I'm not going to dive into that today. Bro, I'm really like done with Gaming Bible. Gaming Bible can get wrecked. They are the clickbaitiest flipping site that we come across when we do our news segment. I'm done with flipping Gaming Bible for the most part, dude. I think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Phil Spencer would love to find solutions so games aren't lost when the 360 store closes. Don't close it. To be fair, I mean, the store's been open for 18 years. I doubt they're getting very much traffic on it at all anymore, and that's why they've decided to make this decision to just kind of like pull the plug. Um, yeah, you're a good psycho. Oh, Stalker may have been delayed to 2024. Okay. Epic Games is giving developers 100% of revenue for total exclusivity? Really? Wow. Okay, let's talk about that. Samsung keeps going back to previous year TVs um to incorporate more of their gaming hub stuff. It initially rolled out like with 2022 TVs. Obviously, their 2023 we're going to have it. Then they were like, well, some of our 2021 TVs. Now they're saying some of their 2020 TVs, which is cool, man. They're like going backwards and trying to incorporate this technology to their models previously that can run it, which is nice. If you own Samsung TVs and you're interested in Smart Hub, which is basically being able to just access your streaming services, gaming streaming services, whether it be in video or Xbox or the other ones that Samsung supports. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head right now, but I think Ant Arcade, some other ones. Then you'll just need to pull up a list of the models that are supported. So I'm sure Samsung has a site, and you can pull it up that way to find out. We've got that up. Yeah, let's talk about this. I think today's the last day for these games. Yes. So Black Book and Dodo Peak, guys. Black Book and Dodo Peak. These games are going away today. This is your last chance. You've got roughly, like 3 hours. 3 hours, like right now, 3 hours to grab Black Book and Dodo Peak. These games are going to be leaving the service as a free option to add to your library in 3 hours, and then Homeworld Deserts of Karak will become available at that point for the next week. So don't miss out. Black Book. I don't know a whole lot about Dodo Peak, but Black Book is supposed to be very, very good. It's got trading. It's got trading card game elements to it. Card game elements to it. Kind of dark, ominous RPG kind of stuff. So it's supposed to be a pretty solid play. Definitely pick these games up and then get ready for Deserts of Karak that is going to hit later today. Okay, get your free games, man. No brainer. Dude, we went over all the Gamescom stuff yesterday. I don't have that news segment out highlighted yet or up on YouTube yet, but the majority of yesterday's news segment was just talking about the games that Gamescom showcased and watching the trailers again and stuff like that for anybody that might have missed it. So I will have that up here pretty soon, as soon as I can get to it. I've been quite busy here lately, outside of streaming, so I'm a little bit behind on some stuff, but I am going to try to get all that done as quickly as possible, hopefully over the weekend. And I'll label that video gaming news segment from yesterday like extended slash you know 2023 Gamescom opening night live recap or something. I'll try to annotate so people know that that's the one they need to go take a look at if they want to recap and everything. It's a long flipping news segment, man. Yep, talked about it. Okay, we'll pull this up. I'm gonna be honest. This Lord of the Rings Return to Moria game does not look very good to me. It doesn't. But it's releasing on October 24th. We'll take a peek at it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, 1 hour ago, Ubisoft signs 15-year deal to stream Call of Duty and other Activision Blizzard games. So this is finalized? It's not even bringing up that link, dude. Crap. I'm gonna have to. If we don't come across another article, I'm gonna have to do a search for this. A lot of stuff's happening on the front of the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, having to do with basically selling off all of the streaming rights, the cloud gaming streaming rights for any games that Activision Blizzard comes out with over the next 15 years. In perpetuity, meaning that Ubisoft will own the streaming rights to those games forever. It's a wild situation. There's a lot to take in about what's going on there. To the point of even Microsoft having to go back to Ubisoft and license their own games out from their own Activision Blizzard games out for their own streaming service. It's a weird situation, man. Co-op gameplay announced for Hellsweeper VR. Looks like BioWare is laying off 50 staff in an effort to thrive. We have Stalker 2 stuff up right now. They're saying Stalker 2 probably not till next year now. May have been delayed to 2024 at this point. Well, we've got something up though. We'll read it. Let's look at our other search real quick. like Nvidia has announced Half-Life 2 RTX. It's Half-Life 2 but with ray tracing. I think that's what we need to know. Yeah, Armored Core 6 hitting I'm really interested hitting tomorrow. I really hope it's good. I really do. If it's actually a decent PC release, we might play it after Blasphemous 2. We'll see. We'll see. I actually kind of expect it to be a bit of a better performing game than Elden Ring was on PC on release. I think Elden Ring's probably fine on PC at this point, but it was bad on release. It did not feel very good, and it was obviously a console game that was ported, and I just don't like seeing that. So I'll wait on Armored Core. As much as I love mech games, and as cool as this one looks, I'm just going to have to wait and see what people are saying about the PC version before I decide to jump into it. But kicks off tomorrow, so we'll be finding out very, very soon what the performance is like. You have it? Dude, Blasphemous is a banger. It's to a lot of people considered kind of, you have to understand it's so knowing what a Metroidvania is, along with it's just filled with kind of obscure kind of things to figure out. If you're gonna play it, re-engage with NPCs often. A lot. Talk to the NPCs a lot that you find. And also know that it can be difficult. It even though it's a like 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania game, it does have soul-like aspects to it. Souls-like aspects to it. Some people would consider it a Souls-like game in some capacities. It's not a third-person, like action melee combat game, but it is an action hack and slash Metroidvania game, and to an extent, it does have some of that soul-like kind of vibe to it. So know that. Just know that going into it. I don't know if it was on Epic. I'll tell you this. I'll pull it up real quick. It's on sale on Steam, and I'll show you something else too. So Blasphemous is on sale for $6.25 right now on Steam, and it's 75% off. So it's 75% off for Blasphemous. Blasphemous 2 is 10% off. You can get the entire bundle. I think there's a bundle for both. Is there a bundle for both? Maybe not. Maybe not. But yeah, just Blasphemous 1 is $6.25 right now, which is, I mean, this game's a banger. It's a banger. I got 30 hours out of the game just beating it the first game, but there's New Game Plus in these that adds new content to them and new challenges and stuff every time you replay the game and stuff. So there's that. Check some other sites too, because I'll tell you this. This is the sell price, dude, for Blasphemous 2 right now. Where's Blasphemous 2 at? Hold on. So this is the pre-purchase price, and the pre-purchase price is going to go away, dude, in like 3 hours. So Blasphemous 2 and that sale is probably going to go away for Blasphemous 1 also. Let me see real quick. How long is this sell up? So Blasphemous 1's sale will end in about 13 hours. Now, Blasphemous 2, the price on this is $27 on Steam at 10% off right now, unless you get the deluxe edition, which would be $35. But if you just want the base edition of Blasphemous 2, you can go to Fanatical. Check this out. You can go to fanatical.com. You'll pay about $22 for the game, and you'll get a free game with it. A free random, very positive rated game. Now, there are a lot of games on Steam that are rated very positive. It doesn't say that it has to be rated very positive of over so many reviews. It just has to be very positive. But they will give you a random, very positive rated game at the same time. So if you wanted Blasphemous 2, and it'll be a Steam key, you can go purchase it on Fanatical. It'll be $22, and you'll get another free game along with it. Check it. I think I have their site up. Hold on. Check it out. Check it out. So Blasphemous 1's actually $5.50, right? The base game for the first game, and then the base edition of the second game is actually 24% off right now. So it's $22.79, excuse me. So almost $23. The sale ends in about 3.5 hours. But what you will get is they're doing this thing right now where depending on how much money you spend, you'll get a game rated in a certain category on Steam to go along with it. And with what you spend on this, you get a game that's rated very positive. So you don't have to spend, you save about $4, $5, as opposed to buying it on Steam, and you get a free game along with it. And it's still a Steam key. It's still a Steam key as well. Let's actually go ahead and we'll look at the Metacritic on it and stuff too. Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I was trying to express the fact that the Blasphemous games are Souls-like in many of their aspects. So it might take you a bit to figure out how to defeat certain bosses and stuff like that, right? But the games are very well developed. I mean, I haven't played the second one yet, but the first one's a banger, dude. It really is. If you stick with it and you get to know it, but it is a Metroidvania, you have to kind of annotate where certain areas are that you'll have to get through later on after you get certain abilities or equipment, things like that. Annotate where NPCs are throughout the levels so that you can go back and talk to them time and time again, because different things will happen throughout the play. As well as bosses are bosses that you have to learn how to fight. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. They're not pushovers, if you will, you know? Nice, Davey. There you go. Yeah, you just get like a rando game, dude. Yeah, if you buy on Fanatical. Yeah. You'll see it when you add the game to your cart, I think. Here, I'll show you. Let me see. Yeah, check this out. Yeah, so shut your flipping mouth. Yeah, check this out. Here, I'll show you right now. So on Fanatical, so if you put it in your cart and you buy, and this is for basically any game right now, they've got this promotion going on where depending on how much money you spend.
Hey, shut your pie hole, buddy.
Alrighty. Then you see right here, this is like actually adding it to the cart, right? You just have to hit them. What's up, dude? So if you add Blasphemous 2 to your cart, you'll see that you also are automatically getting added some kind of mystery, very positive rated game on Steam. So just because they've got this like deal going on right now. You spend a certain amount of money, you get there are different thresholds. I think above $25, you get like a overwhelmingly positive or something. But again, dude, I mean the range of games that you could be getting off of that, but still, I mean, it's a free game. You know what I mean? He's not wrong. Not wrong. But just something to consider there. Maybe a better price point than you would get on Steam, and it's still going to be a Steam game, and you get a free game with it. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a bad deal to me. You know what I mean? So, the more you know. I would also agree with that, Psycho. But, maybe not to everybody. What's up, Pinky? What's going on, buddy? Walking again, melting again. We already knew about that. We already know about this. It's like the first and second weekend of October. I'm not going to dive into that anymore. Yep, Tekken 8 is January of next year. We've hit on that. Hogwarts Legacy fans agree on the game's biggest letdown. They're probably going to say, there's going to be differing opinions on this. My biggest letdown, PC performance on release. Other people will say no Quidditch. There are going to be a lot of things that people point out about the game, but I think the content in it was probably great for what Avalanche was doing with their first jump into a big game like that. But next week you're in Poland again? Word up, dude. Okay, cool. Like, for funsies, or is somebody stealing you and taking you there? Are you going strawberry picking? Or strawberry hunting? Oh, going to the sea, huh? Cool, man. Dope. Awesome, man. For like the entire week, man? Yeah, I've got this up. We'll talk about this. Nice, dude. That's sick, man. That's very cool. I miss being able to go to the ocean. All right, let's dive into these articles, man. We had a really long news segment yesterday, so I'm not. What? All right, well, that's one less. Oh, yeah. Bible driving. Is that what that means? Or bubble driving? What's bubble driving, dude? I'm just kidding, bro. You just focus on driving. Wow, news canceled. Yeah, hold on. Hold on, bro. What we're gonna look up? This I don't actually think this is anything new. This is already stuff we've covered. But this outlet's saying that Ubisoft had already signed it. Now, I couldn't get this site to come up. We'll just have to take a look tomorrow and see. Everything, all this other stuff is because we hadn't seen where Ubisoft had already necessarily officially signed this deal. I didn't think, but it quite possibly could have been official already when we were talking about it, and I just didn't recall. But we'll get more on this as it progresses forward. I don't think there's anything new there. BioWare is eliminating 50 roles in an effort to thrive. What up, Gabsers? What's going on, friendo? It was just revealed that BioWare, the EA-owned studio responsible for the likes of Dragon Age, Mass Effect, and the earlier Baldur's Gate titles, is eliminating 50 roles in an effort to continue to thrive in an industry that's rapidly evolving. This news was broken in the form of a blog post that also spoke of the future of the firm and how the streamlining effort would help the team preserve the health of the studio. There is never a good time. In a heartfelt blog post, Gary McKay, the general manager at BioWare, spoke of the difficult decision that was made to strip 50 employees from within the confines of the company. It was written, quote, "In order to meet the needs of our upcoming projects, continue to hold ourselves to the highest standard of quality, and ensure BioWare can continue to thrive in an industry that's rapidly evolving, we must shift towards a more agile and more focused studio. With these roles eliminated, BioWare can now apparently do what they do best and create exceptional story-driven single-player experiences." To that end, McKay commented on what's coming next for BioWare in the form of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which we knew that, and the next Mass Effect game, which was a pretty good assumption there. We've seen some kind of hints and stuff that were pretty good inklings that was going to be coming after Dreadwolf. Back in 2009, BioWare's representatives spoke out about their loss of the Baldur's Gate license, and thank God. Olympic Day sucked? No. You didn't get your boyfriend, Gabs? Yo. Back in 2009, BioWare's representatives spoke out about their loss of the Baldur's Gate license. The fact they were essentially forced to give it up before they could create Baldur's Gate 3. Moved on to Dragon's Age instead and explained how it was a spiritual successor of sorts to Baldur's Gate 2, released in 2000. I'm so glad Larian has it. Now, I mean, look, was there a potential for BioWare to have done a better job than Larian on Baldur's Gate 3? Miracles happen. Miracles happen, but not very often. You know what I mean? BioWare's made a lot of good games in the past. You know what I mean? They have, but they've had some duds as well. And I honestly, dude, I think the best thing that could have happened to Baldur's Gate 3 was that Larian got the rights to it. You know, you didn't, Gabs. No, what happened? I'm so mad we never really was by each other because of the differently activities. Those differently activities. Dang it. You were doing pogo stick. He was walking stilts. And then, you know, you were bobbing for apples while he was probably, you know, seeing how far he could fling a roasted marshmallow. You know, those are Olympic events, right? And just never lined up, yeah. Had a moment the dude showed no interest. I was all, "What's up, bro?" Did you try to touch the chest again or what? I mean, that might have been the key. I'm sorry, Gabs. I'm sorry, that sucks. As we all know, Baldur's Gate 3 was released just weeks ago, and it was a phenomenal. Well, it was released full release on PC a couple of weeks ago. It's getting ready to get released on PS3. Phenomenal success for Larian, the game's developer. McKay reported that the development of Dreadwolf in the next Mass Effect game remains unaffected by these changes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their studio size was before eliminating these 50 roles, but I don't know. It's not like they're the only one we've seen as of late, getting rid of employees, firing employees, laying off, doing layoffs and stuff. Oh, for real? The team had a stand-up booth? What do you mean? Like you guys were just like trying to like improv like stand-up or something? Like stand-up comedy? I mean, now that we know what Larian's done with Baldur's Gate 3 and what the game it's become, dude, I don't know that very many other studios would have been able to match that. And so, you know, what a fortuitous set of circumstances to lead us to Larian having the rights to Baldur's Gate and making Baldur's Gate 3. Thank God. Oh yeah, they wanting to do the activities. Woo. It's getting hot here. Caps, you're funny. Is he cute? And my earphones just died. Don't even. Oh, jeez. A team had to make a mini show roasting or be funny about a category. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Cry emojis, dude. He's not cute. Look, that's not all that matters. It's not all that matters. If he seems cool, give him a chance. You never know. You know what I mean? Xbox boss would love to find solutions so games aren't lost when the 360 store closes. Phil Spencer says preservation is front and center when all these decisions are made. Although users will still be able to re-download their previous purchases for the foreseeable future, Microsoft recently announced that after July 29th of next year, it will no longer be possible to buy any more games or DLC from the Xbox 360 marketplace. Right, yeah, we knew all this. While many of these games will still be playable via other means, around 220 of them will essentially disappear forever. Recent VGC analysis showed. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has since addressed this in an interview with Eurogamer, in which he said he'd love to find solutions allowing those games to remain available. There's a list of 220 games that are not back compatible. And I have that list and I've got it stapled on my forehead. And like, how can we make sure you can play them still? How many of those are on PC? That's one thing, because it doesn't necessarily mean you need to be able to play it on the existing hardware that you bought 15 years ago. Preservation is front and center when all these decisions are made, Spencer claimed. I will say for us that preservation is linked to only one piece of hardware is a challenge, because there can be hardware love as well, people who love and want this device to do this forever, but mechanical things will break over time. Yeah, that's why we gave people this with this decision a year. Let's say, hey, if you want to go buy things in the 360 store, we're going to give you your head start. You can go get those things. You just know that the list of the 220 games is something that we see. We would love to find solutions for those games to continue to play. In March of 2021, Sony announced plans to close the PS3, Vita, and PSP digital stores. News that was met with widespread backlash due to the number of digital-only games that would no longer be made available. Platform holder made a partial U-turn the following month, with Sony Interactive Entertainment boss Jim Ryan saying it realized it had made the wrong decision in planning to shut all three online marketplaces down. PS3 and Vita stores remained open, but the PSP store was closed as planned in July of 2021, meaning around 35 digital-only PSP games are now no longer available to buy anywhere in any form. Nintendo has also faced criticism, as they are the worst about this, for its decision to close the Wii U and 3DS eShops in March of 2023. The move resulted in around 1,000 digital-only games, some of which were exclusive to the systems, being removed for good with no way to acquire them legally in the future. And don't you dare try to access them on anything other than a Nintendo platform, or Nintendo will try to ruin your life. Yeah, I think I have a lot more faith. Hold on. What the crap was that, dude? I have a lot more faith in Phil Spencer and a company like Xbox trying to find a way to preserve these games to the greatest extent possible. Their Xbox and Phil Spencer are normally, have shown me at least, have shown me a history of being more conscientious about this type of thing, preserving video game history, being better about giving back to their consumer base as far as backwards compatibility, things of that nature. And he's right. The thing that people need to consider here is that obviously I think the glass is half full as far as the Xbox 360 is concerned. They've had this shop open for 18 years. They're shutting the shop down, but they're trying to find ways to preserve the games. That's good. The other reason the glass is half full here is because if you still have purchases from the Xbox 360 that you own, you're still going to be able to access those games. You're still going to be able to download them and install them and all that stuff. You just can't make purchases anymore. There's still going to be online functionality. There's still going to be multiplayer functionality for the Xbox 360. They're not shutting that stuff down. It's just the eShop. And eventually, I think people have to understand that these businesses quite often make a decision to quit putting resources towards that kind of thing. When ultimately, I mean, perfect world, what I would like to see would be Xbox's online platform gives you the ability to grab, I mean, it's all inclusive, comprehensive of all their back catalog of digital games. So you can still connect a 360 and still grab their eShop games. You can still connect an Xbox One, grab Xbox One games. And same thing for Nintendo. I've been saying this about Nintendo forever. The fact that they just come out with a new platform for every single Nintendo console, and then they shut it down right after like the next one comes out or whatever, is highly irritating. But not only that, they get rid of so many games that people still want to play and buy and everything, you know? So, yo, Lunico, what's up, buddy? It's a tough thing. I mean, I think that to an extent, many of us, just consumers and gamers, it's hard for us to look at this from a business standpoint, which is what they have to do. But I do think that Xbox does a better job of addressing this than the other two do. And Phil Spencer's not wrong. With many of these titles, I mean, the main thing they have to consider is, can you access it somewhere? You might not be able to get it on the Xbox 360 anymore, but can you get it somewhere? Can you play it on PC? The main thing is that it's preserved. You can still get it somewhere. You know, it's still accessible on some platform. That's the main thing. You know, there's still going to be people that go, well, I can't get it on my 360 though. And yeah, I get it, you know, but you have to see it from a business point of view as well, to an extent. I don't know if you can play every single one, but that's what I'm getting at. Like Xbox has always been better about like the backwards compatibility aspect of things. But here's the thing, and that's why I don't know how many of the 360 games, because I'm not as educated on that front. I'm not a big I haven't been on Xbox's platform very much for the past 2 generations, really 3 generations, to be honest. And But I'll tell you this, if I was going to be diving into a console nowadays, Xbox would be my play. I feel like they're the more consumer friendly, more community conscious platform, in my opinion. But none of the console players really feel good to me anymore. So, okay, Gabs, you played Twisters and his butt was all up in your face. Girl, you didn't like that booty all up in your grill? Was it all like this? Hold on. Was it all like this? I got you. Check it out. He was like, Gabs, check this noise out. Want to play some Twister? Gabs, thanks for stopping by. That booty, you know it, dude. That booty. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Maybe we'll see you later, okay? Oh, dude. That's funny. Have a good day if we don't see you, Gabs. Appreciate you. No, okay. Be very careful about your wording there, Lunico. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. I rehashed it out this morning. It's not a streaming device. It's a remote access device. Those are two different things, right? So it's in the realm of gaming nowadays. If you say streaming, you're talking about being able to play games off of their streaming services, and that's not what that device does. And I think you know that, but we need to be very careful about the way we word things. So it is a remote access device. It's not a streaming service device, right? So just to be very clear, make sure everybody's clear on that front. Take it easy, Gabs. Appreciate you. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Talked about it today. I'm, even before it got announced what it was going to be called, it's PlayStation Portal is what it's going to be called. It's a lower price point than I figured they would ask for it. It's still $200 for a DualSense 5 controller with a screen in the middle of it that all it does is give you remote access. I mean, I think it's going to differ for each individual person. How many people are, actually, I think the more people that are going to be, you have to have your PS5 on. Yes. That's literally all it is. Your PS5 has to be on and running a game, and then you can basically remotely access that title and your PS5 through this device, right? Which traditionally people would have called that streaming those games to that device, but because of where we've come in the gaming industry with streaming games through like services and stuff like that, we have to be careful about the way we like. Yeah, basically, dude. Yeah. And so that's all it is. So if you know what Steam Link is, it's literally the same thing that Steam has been giving its player bases on PC for roughly the past decade as just a quality of life option. Now, PlayStation does have a remote play piece of technology incorporated with their PlayStation platform, but apparently it's not very intuitive. It requires quite often a lot of networking configurations to go on to get it to work correctly. And this is where I have an issue with Sony and PlayStation on that front. Instead of working diligently to try to make sure they're giving their player base, their consumer base, the quality of life of remote play options. So if your PS5's in the living room, but you've got family members or a significant other or somebody that wants to watch a movie or something and you still wanted to play a game, so you could just remotely access your PS5 on another, like a TV or something in another room or a monitor in another room. You know what I mean? Apparently the remote play incorporation of their technology is not very good. It's not very seamless. It's kind of crap from what I've read. And instead of fixing that first and foremost, they came up with this $200 controller that allows you to do that. And I think that there are going to be people that, if you're a multi-platform player, you probably understand and see this as kind of a scummy thing. If you're not, if you're somebody that's just basically been a PlayStation player for quite some time, and you don't ever play on anything else, you're going to look at this and probably go, oh, that's really neat, and pay them an extra $200 for a controller with a screen on it, you know? So I don't even call this thing a handheld. It's not a handheld in any capacity. It is literally a DualSense 5 controller with a screen in the middle of it. And all that screen does is gives you remote access to your PS5 if you're on the same local area network, if you're on the same Wi-Fi network, right? So personally, I would not even consider buying this as an option if I had a PS5. But there will be people that see it as something cool and a cool piece of quality of life because they want to go lay in bed and play or you know, go sit on the porcelain throne and play a game, whatever, you know what I mean? When really, first and foremost, PlayStation should be making sure that this is a quality of life option for them to be able to stream their PS5 from any room in their house to any other room in their house on a TV, another monitor, what have you, as just a thank you, a quality of life to their consumer base and their the people that have bought into their platform, because it should be there. This is not new technology. They're just trying to make it look new. So I don't know. To me, it's comes off like a scam. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with this Xbox stuff and these games that are going away. I don't know how many. The way this reads, okay, the way this reads is that there are 220 games that are literally not playable on any other platform right now, right? So I'm from what I'm understanding here, there is a list of 220 games that are not backwards compatible. I have that list and I've got it stapled to my forehead. And like, how can we make sure you can play them still, right? So from what I understand, the 220 games they're referencing here in regards to this Xbox situation are games that they are not aware of you being able to play on any other platform currently. They're not backwards compatible. They're only basically accessible through Xbox 360. And so they're trying to find ways to preserve them. That's what I'm understanding about this situation. And if I was going to have faith in any of the console companies and being able to figure out how to get this done, it would be Xbox. We'll see what happens. Again, and the whole PlayStation Portable thing, or PlayStation Portal, it was originally called PlayStation Project Q until it got released now. Everybody's going to have their own respective take on this, depending on their own situation, what type of gamer they are, if you know what I mean. And some people are going to find it to be a nice accessory to their PS5. I mean, if you think about it, I talked about this earlier. If you think about it, if you're buying a PS5 and you're buying PlayStation Portal, that alone is going to set you back about $700 US, right? Oh yeah, what's that, Alunico? And I mean, that's a big solid chunk of change, dude. I mean, you're at that point, you're well into encroaching upon territory of being able to build a mid-tier PC. Not quite, but almost. Where you can get remote access, quality of life, free games all the time. You know, not have to worry about having to pay to play online. So I think that's just, these are those kinds of things that people need to actually really start taking a hard look at. Continuing to buy into the scumminess that has become a lot of what the console industry is, and what you could actually get out of just, maybe switching over and becoming, I mean, I'm an advocate for PC gaming, and I've played across all consoles forever, or all platforms forever, but I'm a big advocate for PC gaming nowadays. The console side of stuff has just gotten so ridiculously scummy for consumers, man. It's a huge turnoff for me. So I think people need to look at it critically about what you could potentially get out of putting that money elsewhere into the gaming realm, Olympico, let me give you a different take on that perspective. So for you, and I respect your take on that. I respect your take on that. So to you, it's an absolute no-go. And other people are going to see it that way too. This is the way some other people will see it, and this is the way I would see it. So to some people, that's going to be something they'll want to do because of immersion. Okay? So to some people, that will be an extra part of immersion for them for the game. And they'll go, oh, that's cool, I'll do that. It won't be something that they look at as being a hindrance to them monetarily or time-wise. They'll see it as a better way to get immersed in the game. I look at it as more of a handicap. I look at it as something that makes the game more difficult for me, because I'm constrained on time. I have to go visit my parents from time to time. I'm also constrained on money because I have to give them money too. So for me, I'll see it as a handicap, and I'll play it like that because I want it to be more difficult. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to oh, you find it cool? Okay. Yeah, so, but I mean, you're not wrong. They're going to be people that go, oh, that's dumb. Like, why would you do that if all it's going to do is waste time and waste money? But I think it's important to take a look at it from the way other people might look at it. You know what I mean? So some people are going to go, yeah, I don't care to deal with that in the game, and they won't. And then there are going to be other people that go, oh, that's a cool piece of immersion, or oh, that's like a nice little like side handicap thrown into the game. So, that's just the way we have to like address some of that stuff, But that's interesting. That's interesting. Huh. That's pretty neat, actually. So if you choose a background where you don't have parents, did you spawn out of like a clamshell or something? Did you just like walk out of the ocean one day? One day I just popped out of this cocoon, man, and like here I am. I think I would have a great time in Starfield. Well, we'll see. I'm not planning on playing it on release or anything. So, but I am interested in paying attention to how it does, obviously. And if it does, if it looks like it's going to be pretty good, we'll probably fit it into the schedule sometime moving forward. Yeah. We got a busy schedule right now, so the thing about that game is I'll probably want it to take a significant amount of time to play it. It'll be one of those things where I have to find a good chunk of time to fit it in without too many interruptions. Stalker 2 may have been delayed to 2024. It seems that Stalker 2 may be suffering from yet another delay, as revealed by a fact sheet included as part of a press pack issued by GSC Game World, the series' developer. In this document, it states that Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl will be released on PC and Xbox Series X and S in Q1 of next year, despite the top page of the site hosting the document reading available 2023. This would be the latest in a long line of delays for Stalker 2, the production of which has been plagued by all manner of issues, including the Russian invasion of Ukraine that have effectively uprooted much of the development team. Yeah. I mean, we can't, honestly, like, whatever amount of time they need to finish this game and to do it right, it's absolutely understandable with everything they've been having to deal with as a Ukrainian-based developer being invaded by Russia. And, I mean, obviously, heart and thoughts go out to all the Ukrainians that have had to deal with this terrible situation, but this is just another example of, a result of that situation. And for us as gamers, it's important that, especially in this situation, we be understanding of why they need more time, Yeah, dude. All right, that works. All right. So, quote, the Stalker 2 demo at Gamescom was running on a PC at the Xbox booth instead of using an Xbox. They tried to minimize the open world game into a buggy quest-leaded SP demo for the Gamescom. Crashed, had game-breaking bugs and texture issues. Yikers. In social circles, the sentiment is that even another year wouldn't be enough to polish the game off, despite it having been in production for at least a decade. Oh, yikes, dude. For the most part, the diehard community members who have backed the series for all these years are happy with the reported delay. This means they'll arguably get a more refined final product. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, I mean, being somebody myself that often talks about, like, the more delays there are in a game, stop that. The more delays there are in a game, usually the more red flags that is as an indicator for what the final product of the game is going to be. We as gamers and consumers have to be understanding of the fact, and we actually need to embrace delays as they're appropriate, they're needed. Gaming development is a very intense project development timeline that can be thrown off track by numerous different things. And we have to be understanding of the fact that sometimes delays are necessary. And we need to make developers and publishers feel comfortable in pushing out a delay. Because ultimately, we have seen time and time again what the result is of publishers and developers pushing out a game that's not ready. It's catastrophic. And it makes us feel cheated out of our money. It's not a good situation. Therefore, it's very important that developers and publishers are comfortable delaying game. Now, the flip side of that is developers and publishers should not be pushing out release dates, even small release windows, until they're pretty positive they can meet those dates. It doesn't mean that something might not crop up that requires a delay. It's understandable. But you see games like, let's use Skull and Bones, for example, from Ubisoft, right? Skull and Bones, dude, has been delayed like 8 times at this point. That is a key identifier. There is something wrong in the development process of that game. They even had their own dedicated showcase, roughly 10 months ago, and they still delayed it a number of times after that. They were like, oh, yeah, it's releasing. They had like an hour and a half long showcase. We watched it here in the channel, and it's still delayed, still hasn't come out. It's one of those things where, dude, I'm at the point where I've been calling a game like Skull and Bones a myth. I don't think it's real. And honestly, even if it does get released, everybody should be very, very, very hesitant about buying that game at all till you see what it will possibly be. Because that kind of situation shows there is something significantly wrong in the development process of a game. And quite often will lead to the game having issues. either on the content side or on the performance side. We see it time and time again. But this is kind of an outlier here, right? I mean, the Stalker 2 stuff with the devs being located out of Ukraine, we absolutely need to be understanding of them needing delays. I can't imagine what it's been like to have to go through, not only for themselves, but worrying about friends and family in that area and everything as well, and trying to continue development of a project like this. We need to be understanding, supportive, let them do their thing, and hopefully whenever Stalker 2 is ready, we'll get it and it'll be good. Hopefully they don't try to push it out too quick, you know. Epic Games is giving developers 100% of revenue for total exclusivity. Never been easier to bring your games to the Epic Games Store. This is pretty huge, man. Epic Games announced its new First Run program, an initiative that provides participants with 100% of their net revenue for 6 months of exclusivity on the Epic Games Store. For developers and publishers with registered Epic Games developer accounts that are working on eligible products launching on or after October 16th of this year, they will benefit from this boosted net revenue from user spending as well as continued exposure to potential customers. Citing the 68 million monthly active users on the Epic Games Store, those who sign up for the Epic First Run program will see their games given, quote, new exclusive badging, homepage placements, and dedicated collections. Furthermore, their products will be featured in relevant store campaigns, including sales, events, and editorial as applicable. On the other side of the arrangement, the company stressed that the developer must promote their products early and often with their target audience. Epic First Run also allows developers to release their products on its publishers' stores or launchers as a direct sell to customers. Additionally, if the developer releases their game through a competitor, then the exclusivity period is nullified from that day forward, and the revenue split reverts to the standard. Once those 6 months are over, then developers are able to place their products on other third-party platforms, and the revenue split shrinks to 88%. Never been easier to bring your games to Epic Games Store, said the company. In March this year, we launched our self-service publishing tools to streamline the onboarding and release process. The tools allow developers to register, set up, test, and distribute their games all directly through the Epic Developer Portal. So this is something emulating a lot of what like Steam does, right? In other, so we already talked about this, but that's pretty wild, man. So for 6 months of total exclusivity on Epic's platform, the developers get 100% of revenue. Interesting. That's significant, man. That's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. It'd be interesting to hear some developers' takes on whether or not this is going to entice them to move over from a bigger platform like Steam I'm sure we'll see. It's not like Epic wasn't already getting exclusivity deals and everything, but this is pretty significant. Free-range games, The Lord of the Rings, Return to Moria launches digitally on October 24th. Look, this game does not look very good to me. I'll just be very blunt here. I feel like we've been getting like bad Lord of the Rings games for a minute now. Gollum. I mean, one of the more notable ones for sure. But I mean, maybe it'll be good. But I mean, I'm just not really seeing it here, man. Take a look. Let me know what you think. We'll read about it.
Our story is more than what hobbits and elves know. It is time we told it ourselves. With hammer and axe, we mine and scout. Across Middle-earth, delving for riches.
It looks so generic. I think that's the thing that bothers me. It just looks so very, very generic. And I'm not one of those people that at the forefront of anything that I'm really cared about. Graphical fidelity is not at the forefront. If the game feels really good, it's got really nice gameplay elements, stuff, then, you know. But I mean, dude, this looks.
Come, my fellow dwarves. Rally together.
Old as crap.
It's time we took back our home.
I think that's the thing that's weird for me. This looks like a game that would have been made like 2 generations ago of console. Like, had it come out about 10 years ago, people would have been like, oh, this looks dope. The minds of Moria beckon as we have a digital and physical release date for the upcoming survival game. The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria launches digitally for the PS5 and PC on October 24th, and will feature a physical retail release for the PS5 on December 5th. Plans for it to cross over to Xbox consoles in early of next year, so stay tuned to Gaming Trend for the announcement when a date is available. So the story of Moria takes players beyond the books and into the Fourth Age of Middle-earth, the fantastical world created by Tolkien. Summoned to the Misty Mountains by Lord Gimli, a lock-bearer, players take control of a company of dwarves tasked to reclaim the lost spoils of the dwarven homeland of Moria, known as Khazad-dûm or Dwarodelf, in the depths below their very feet. The quest will require fortitude and teamwork, delving deep into the mines of Moria to recover its treasures and in the hopes of one day restoring them to their former glory. You'll create your own custom dwarf, venture into the mines either alone or with a company of fellow dwarves online. Each adventure bringing unique challenges and opportunities. Procedurally generated environments, which is great. I like that. Creating nearly endless possibilities as players seek the deepest delves of the dwarves. Craft resilient armors, finely honed weapons. I mean, the premise sounds cool, but man, I mean, why does it look so flippin' old? I think they'll be able to get away with it as long as the game feels good. You know, if you're playing it, it feels nice to play. It's engaging. Procedurally generated does a lot for a game like this, to be fair. A game built on this kind of premise and procedurally generated environments and stuff. So every time you play it, you get in, it feels a little bit different because it is going to be different. You know, you're never going to expect the same thing. That's an important thing for a lot of games of this nature. And that could be a big thing for this. So just because it looks dated doesn't mean it'll be bad. That's for sure. I'm just wondering why it does look so very old. It's kind of interesting. We'll see though. So one of Star Wars' most influential games is getting remastered. Dark Forces is no longer Star Wars canon, but its impact on the stories contemporary Star Wars is telling runs incredibly deep. Let's see. So during Gamescom, Night Dive announced they were working on a remaster of Dark Forces. We kind of hit on this yesterday too, but updating the 1995 shooter with updated 4K graphics and high frame rate modes. Not a complete overhaul, but the sprucing up of Dark Forces classic 2D and early 3D CG cutscenes captures a lot of the legendary 90s gaming aesthetic while giving it a clean pass. Dark Forces still looks like Dark Forces and not, say, Jedi Survivor. Dude, hopefully it doesn't look like Jedi Survivor, which was a hot flipping mess. But that's the point, and it's not a remake, but an invitation to go back to that moment in Star Wars and gaming history and see it as your hazy memories recalled it. Here you go. Peter, what up, dog? What's up, brother? What you doing, mate? You headed to work, bro? Yeah, man, just living the life, baby. Doing what I love. Hanging out with cool peoples, Talking about video games, man.
The Emperor has approved your test demonstration, General Mock.
5 days ago, the Empire attacked one of our secret bases.
Another beautiful day, baby.
Intelligence thinks that this may be an act of retaliation for the destruction of
It's good to see you, man. It's Doom Star Wars. So, the remaster is going to release on PS4 and PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC via Steam, with a release date announcement coming later this year. All right, guys. There's a little bit more to read in there if you want, but blast from the past. Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. Phil Spencer insists games launch across Xbox Series X and S despite Baldur's Gate 3. No show. We're going to learn from this experience. Are you? Let me bring something up here. So Xbox boss Phil Spencer has admitted the fact Steam mega hit Baldur's Gate 3 launches on PS5 ahead of Xbox Series X and S isn't a great situation for Microsoft, but remains committed to having games released on both of those systems of their consoles. Larian's sprawling role-playing game Baldur's Gate 3 launched on PC in August and launches on PS5 the same date that Starfield, Xbox's big game coming out of Bethesda, launches, September 6th, right? But Baldur's Gate 3 is without a Xbox Series X and S release date. There's no exclusivity deal between Larian and Sony. Rather, Larian is struggling to get Baldur's Gate 3 two-player split-screen co-op running well enough on the less powerful but cheaper Xbox Series S. And Microsoft policy that enforces gameplay feature parity across both systems means Larian cannot release Baldur's Gate 3 on any Xbox Series console until it has optimized split-screen co-op on the S to the point it hits the quality bar it needs to satisfy players. As IGN revealed in June, Microsoft has parachuted its engineers to help Larian overcome this problem, but the upshot in Baldur's Gate 3 may not launch on Xbox until the end of this year or even early next year. Yeah. This is not the first time this has happened, an issue of getting split screen to work on the Series S, as 343 Studios had issues and scrapped the split screen from the ill-fated Halo Infinite last year. Turn 10's Forza Motorsport won't have split screen at launch either. The situation with Baldur's Gate 3 on the Xbox Series X and S highlights an intensifying headache for Microsoft, as more and more developers look to make the most of the power of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Will having to release a version of their multi-platform games on the S hold them back? Or in drastic cases such as Larian's, hold Xbox versions back completely? Has the time come then for Microsoft to let studios release their games on the Xbox Series X only, or for it to perhaps relax its parity clause? That's exactly what IGN asked Xbox Phil Spencer at Gamescom. Here's what he said in response. This is 11 minutes, okay, 11 minutes. So we won't watch that right now, but, quote, the decision to do split screen or not is a creative decision, a dev decision, Spencer said. So if we think about Forza, it has nothing to do with any kind of hardware thing on S and X, just where they want to focus their time. We obviously see the data in terms of how many people play local co-op for games. I love local co-op. Shout out to Vampire Survivors that just launched it. Yeah, that's pretty dope. There's also just a let's go where the play is in terms of where we're going to focus on our dev resources. In terms of the two platforms, I want games to launch on both platforms, X and S. There are feature differences between the platforms. We have an ability to kind of handle that and how it works. Where teams are going to choose to focus their time and their efforts is up to them. We're here to support them and what they want to go do. We want to make sure that our games, when they're launching on competitive platforms, are also launching on Xbox. Look, man, we've read for quite a while that developers have had a significant time trying to get their games to perform up to par on the Series S. And it's been a hindrance, a significant hindrance to developers. So I think this entire rollout for Microsoft and Xbox with having two different systems from the get-go, one being significantly like the standard high power console, competitive on hardware performance, all, to the same level as like a PS5, but then coming out with something that's about half as powerful and then still requiring developers to release on both platforms is a really rough thing, dude. And we've seen it create a lot of issues for Xbox. Ultimately, I don't think Xbox sticks with a traditional console mindset moving forward. I think that a handheld console playing a dual role as being able to be docked and played as a traditional console fits their profile better, fits their portfolio better. All the services they have, cloud gaming, cloud streaming, their subscription service, the traditional aspect of their gaming services and console and everything. Yeah, I think that where Xbox currently sits in this fashion, I think that something more along the lines of what Switch has made so popular and shown developers, hardware developers, what can be a very, very nice dual role kind of console. I think it fits Xbox better. I don't think they stick to traditional consoles for a long time moving forward anyways. I think they need to start transitioning over into something more of a handheld, So we'll see what happens. That's just my only kind of take on that situation. But this shows you like just how big of a headache this can be for Xbox and Microsoft. The fact that they are not allowing games to be released on just one of the consoles. If you're going to release on one, you got to release on both. Right? They're creating a handicap for themselves in the fashion of especially a huge game like Baldur's Gate 3, which could be pretty successful on their platform. And honestly, not releasing on their platform when it is releasing on PlayStation is potentially going to have people going and playing PlayStation rather than playing Xbox. They know that. And that's not a good look, dude. It's not a good thing for them. So, I don't know. They need to figure it out. They need to figure it out pretty quick. What happened? Saw a bunch of TikToks, people saying they'll buy the... Yeah. So... we knew people would buy it. And it's sold very well. It's an unfortunate thing, honestly. For all of us that actually give a crap about the gaming industry and what this kind of thing means for us moving forward, that sucks. It sucks. Because a lot of people don't look at the industry quite as critically as we do here in this community. And you're talking honestly, I mean we've talked about this before, but just to summarize this for people that don't understand or haven't heard about this, the Red Dead Redemption port to PS4 and Switch that Rockstar just did costs $50. It is literally not in any way, shape, or form changed from its original version. They just ported the game over to these consoles, and they're charging $50 for it. And I said this, dude, from the first time I heard this, I said this, the game's a banger. People deserve to experience this game. They don't deserve to have their wallets raped in order to experience it, though. You know what I mean? That's unfortunate. And if you want a real, let's break this down. So, a 13-year-old game. If you're gonna take a 13-year-old game and remaster it, a 13-year-old game getting remastered will normally sell for $30 to $40, right? Yeah, it did sell well too. It did. And that's exactly the issue, Alunico. And that's why, I know a lot of us that hang out here have the right mindset. And the reason that I express these sentiments is to try to get people to think more critically about how to address this industry in a way that will help it to move forward in a healthier state for us as the consumer in the way that the businesses treat us. Because this is asinine. A 13-year-old game, absolutely nothing done performance-wise or anything. This game came out on PS3 and Xbox 360 13 years ago, and they're selling it for $50 on the PS4 and the Switch, and it's the same exact game. A remaster of a game of this nature would, and a remaster, we're not talking about a remake. We're not talking about completely rebuilding the game. A remaster would normally sell for what, I don't know, about $40. 13-year-old game remaster, $40. You're talking about a remake of this type of game, a ground up remake. Absolutely, you're talking top tier AAA price tag, right? $60 to $70. They're charging $50 right in the middle of both those price points for something that they did nothing to, literally nothing. And it feels terrible. It feels terrible. We knew a lot of people would buy it. Rockstar knew a lot of people would buy it, which is why they did it that way. Until people quit being ignorant about the way this industry works and feeding these greedy asshole companies, it won't change. But I mean, it's got to start somewhere, and we're somewhere. And there are other communities out there and other people that have the same mindset and sentiments. It's just it's got to spread. You know what I mean? Before it's going to have an impact. It's just insane. It's insane that they are able to re-release this game 13 years later on modern platforms at almost a AAA price tag. It's actually incredibly malding, and it feels terrible. So, I don't know. Yeah. It is. It's rage inducing, dude. I hate to see it. I mean, for me, it's one of those things where moving forward, I will not support Rockstar anymore. That's just too gross. It's too gross of a thing. Rockstar has turned into just a company that, I mean, I've played their games forever, dude, as many of us have. And it's not that they're not good at making content, but they're solely consumed by greed. I understand that, these are businesses, they have to make money, but there's a difference between making money the right way, taking care of your fan base and your consumer base, and just being absolutely juggernauts of greed that don't give a crap about anybody. Right, exactly. Yeah. So, for me, like I bought RDR2. I haven't played it yet. I bought RDR2 at the end of last year. Take this into consideration. RDR2 I got last year, the deluxe edition of RDR2. I got it last year during the winter sale for $15. And people are buying a 13-year-old version of Red Dead Redemption for $50 right now. How backwards is that, dude? How backwards is that, dude? That's actually insane, man. So, I don't know. I mean, you're never going to be able to get everybody on a united front, but I think that the more we can spread this information and try and get people to think critically about the way people are going to spend their money however they want to, you're never going to be able to change that. But trying to get people that are passionate about this industry to think more critically about the way some of these companies are treating us and that they shouldn't be supported moving forward is what needs to happen. Absolutely psycho. Yeah, yeah, super backwards. which is why I do what I do, you know, from my point of view, trying to promote good parts of the industry, good companies in the industry, and raise awareness about the bad parts and the bad companies in the industry is something that obviously I feel very passionate about, and I think needs to be more awareness, you know what I mean, spread so people are more educated and less ignorant about supporting these terrible companies. It's unfortunate, man. Denuvo Security. This is the last article I have, by the way. If anybody has anything else to add for the news segment today, let me know and we'll address it before we move on. We've got Fallout New Vegas for the morning gaming segment, or morning gaming content. And then this afternoon, we'll be playing Blasphemous 2, baby. All right, let's finish this up. If you got anything that I haven't hit on that you want to talk about or whatever, put it in chat. We'll discuss it, all right? Denuvo Security is now on Switch, including new tech to block PC Switch emulation. We saw this yesterday. I just wanted to touch on this real quick. So Nintendo's getting blasted. Denuvo's getting blasted. Denuvo is traditionally software that does not, in any form or fashion, help anything at all. It might create a small obstacle for pirates. Arr. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't last very long, right? People always find a way around it. And what it really is more of a detriment to the quality of the gaming experience quite often for the people that play the games legitimately, buy the games legitimately, than it actually does any good in preventing piracy, you know? An eye roll emote, I'll have to try to get it. I need to get like the bobble eyes on, dude, and cut it out of my like extreme at some point, and I'll try to like get the eyes to roll and like clip it or something so I can like turn it into an emote. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't even know how many spots I have for emote. That's one of the things that I need to work on, though. That's one of the reasons I'm taking a day off right now. It's one of the reasons I'm taking a day off right now is because I've got so much stuff that has just, I've got to work emotes and, you know, montages and getting everything up on YouTube. So, you know, I'll try to see what I can do with that, dude. But we did see yesterday where this had popped off. They're getting wrecked for it. Nintendo's getting obliterated on social media. So is Denuvo. To make matters even worse, Denuvo, and I'll show you in a moment, I think there's a link in this article. Denuvo actually posted on Twitter X, Muskrat X, I don't know what it's called anymore, dude. Posted on there as like an announcement kind of post that this was going down, that this was happening, and they were collaborating with Nintendo now. And not only is this a company that is supposed to be preventing, so from a company that's supposed to be preventing like piracy, right? They used AI generated artwork to try and create an image of like the Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. And it was obviously AI generated artwork, which is plagiarism. It's asinine, dude. It's so stupid. Denuvo's so dumb, dude. So, let's read this real quick. So, security software company Denuvo has announced that its protection tech is now available to Switch developers. Company is the first security partner to be added to the Nintendo Developer Portal, which studios can use to access tools and documentation while developing Switch games. The first of the tools Denuvo is offering to Switch developers is Switch Emulator Protection, a revolutionary technology to protect games launching on Nintendo Switch from piracy, until pirates figure out a way around it. According to Denuvo, the new tech can be applied to Switch games to block the ability to play them on PC emulators. Even if a game is protected against piracy on its PC version, the version released on Switch can be emulated from day one and played on PC, therefore bypassing the strong protections offered on the PC version, the company says. This can happen with any of the numerous games available on Switch. By quote, by blocking unauthorized emulations on PC, studios are able to increase their revenue during the game launch window. This is the most important period for monetization. The Nintendo Switch emulator protection will ensure that anyone wishing to play the game has to buy a legitimate copy. As with all other Denuvo solutions, the technology integrates seamlessly into the build toolchain with no impact on gaming experience. We have seen proof that this is not the case in the past, that Denuvo has affected game performance. It then allows for the insertion of checks into the code, which blocks gameplay on emulators. Here, check this out. I want to see this. Let's go to look at this. Look at this. This is their post. So this is their post, right, from yesterday, Denuvo. We're thrilled to announce that our top tier protection technologies are officially accessible as authorized hashtag Nintendo Switch middleware on the hashtag Nintendo Developer Portal. Now look at what they did. They literally did AI generated artwork for this. Right? And look at all these replies. Cool, now my Switch games will run slow. And here, I thought it was only for PC. How ironic that you promote your anti-copying tools by copying a Zelda image. Poorly, might I add. You clowns are useless. Quit breathing my air. Ah! Because the Switch needs more performance issues, yeah. Yeah, this is a good one right here. Ironic that you guys hate people who yet you still artists work using AI. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You guys suck. Five frames per second malware. Stop ruining gaming. You all are using LLM art program trained on stolen art assets to promote your anti-piracy tech. Come on. Actually insane, dude. So, Nintendo's been trying to prevent Switch emulation on PC for some time now, and in May it issued multiple DMCA takedown requests to software hosting service GitHub to remove Lockpick, a homebrew tool designed to make it possible to play Switch games on an emulator. Lockpick is a tool which lets players dump the unique encryption key from their own Switch so it can be used to play backups of Switch games on PC emulators. While some players claim this is legal for creating their own backups, something Nintendo nevertheless disputes in its takedown claims. One of the steps in playing pirated Nintendo Switch games involves downloading someone else's encryption key, a number of which are available for download online. Yeah, look, the thing about emulation is, in fact, that it is absolutely legal to emulate any game that you actually own on whatever platform you want. As long as you own that game, you can emulate the crap out of it. It doesn't matter. You own that game. So you want to emulate it. You own Breath of the Wild, but you actually want to play it where you don't have to deal with any kind of like 30 frame rate issues, or you don't want to deal with some of the frame rate loss and stuff like that. You want to get it in a higher resolution than 720p on the Switch or whatever. Emulate it on PC. There are great emulators out there that do it. And that's one of the reasons that Nintendo throws a fit about this, but Nintendo is actually creating their own kind of issue here. They wanted to stretch the Switch out as long as possible. When it's super dated hardware and they expect people not to want to emulate their own games, on better, more modern hardware to have a better experience playing the games, get wrecked, dude. Nintendo. I mean, give me a break. What do you expect, man? The team working on Switch Android emulator Skyline also announced in May that it had received a DMCA takedown notice from Nintendo due to its use of lockpick. The Skyline team chose to cease all development on its emulator due to the potential legal risks involved. Earlier this year, Switch hacker Gary Bowser. I mean, dude, this makes me feel like I'm living in the Matrix, man. How? I mean, I've known about this for a while, but, and I mean, we are, right? This is the Matrix. Let's be fair. There is not a better name for anybody to be going at Nintendo, you know, hacking Nintendo stuff and like, come on, man. Last name Bowser? Yeah, it does. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Console's always done that, Timwin. Yeah. They're changing their time zone to get access to it and stuff, dude. Yeah, 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 bro. Yeah, but it does release at in 2.5 hours. Yep, I've been watching it, dude. Yep, I've got my copy and everything. Yeah, buddy. Thanks though. Yeah, console players have always been duping the system like that, dude. You know, you'll set your time zone to like Australian. Like an Australian time zone or whatever, and it's basically the next day already, so you just get to play the game, you know? Yeah, it's wild. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Happy Thursday. So Gary Bowser was released from prison early for his part as a member of a hacking group called Team Executor, which in 2013 began creating and selling circumvention devices enabling users to play illegal ROMs on consoles using Switch and 3DS. However, Bowser now has to fulfill the other part of his sentence, in which he has been ordered to pay $14.5 million US dollars in damages, of which a $10 million payment to Nintendo is considered the priority. I mean, all Bowser has to do is like steal the princess from Nintendo and then ransom the money, right? I mean, we were talking about Bowser, right? Pretty sure that's the way that works. But yeah, De Novo. Jesus, get wrecked, dude. Is that what it is, Lunico? Did you get out that way, dude? Is that, well, I mean, because Neo is actually in that game, right? So that makes sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, dude. Yeah. That's the news, my friends. That's the news for today. Not quite as long as we did yesterday, you know? Yesterday was extensive. We got a good day lined up, man. We're going to play some Fallout New Vegas for the next roughly 2.5 hours. And then I'll start downloading and installing Blasphemous 2. And we'll have some fun with that, man. I'm really excited to dive into that. We probably won't go deep into the afternoon today. I've got a little bit of stuff going on later this afternoon that I'm going to have to probably be done around 8 hours into the stream today, something like that. So it won't be short like it was yesterday. It'll be a normal stream, but I won't be able to go long today, unfortunately. With the release of Blasphemous 2, I would like to, but I have some stuff going on this afternoon that I've got to bounce for. So we'll probably call it around 2:30, something like that, my time, you know. But it'll be good. We'll have a good time. Great news segment. Appreciate you guys. We're gonna go play some games now. But to anybody that was getting to hang out and enjoy the video gaming news segment today, maybe for the first time, or you know, if you're getting to check this out later on as a VOD, either as a highlight on the Twitch channel or a VOD on the YouTube channel, understand that we've got all our previous video gaming news segments, all of our a lot of our playthroughs that we've done here in the channel that are in playlists by episode. And as well as just crazy, wild, fun clips and highlights, stuff like that of things that have happened here in the community and while we're live. All that stuff's out there on both the Twitch and the YouTube channel. And check that stuff out. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, man, come hang out with us. We go live at 6 a.m. roughly, 6 a.m. CST, CDT every single day, but Wednesdays right now. We always have a good time, man. We got a lot of cool people that hang out here. Passionate about the gaming industry, and we just enjoy each other's company and enjoy hashing out what's going on in the gaming world and playing games together. So if it sounds like you're jammed, then come hang out with us, man. We're always looking for new people to be a part of what we do. Cool, good, awesome peeps to come be a part of it, man. So come hang out with us. Other than that, man, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. Happy flipping Thursday. Keep grinding. The weekend's almost here. We're going to go play some games. All right? We'll do our next edition of Video Gaming News tomorrow for August 25th. All right?